and welcome to today's episode of Dimensioning and Selection of Motion Control Components, brought to you by Siemens. I'm your host today, I'm Sulin, and today we are going to discuss the importance of having an application like the tier selection tool for selecting the correct motion control components and for performing dimensioning. Joining me today is Mr. Kok Yeong, who is a Siemens Solution Partner and Director for Asia Pacific Business Development for ROVISYS Asia. Welcome to today's podcast.
Thank you, Sudin. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure for me to talk about tools that make our life easier and it's more efficient. So tier selection tool has certainly been our go-to tools for that.
I'm very glad to hear that, and it's a pleasure to have you on board here today. So let's just dive into this topic. So the tier selection tool, as I understood, is a very important and also invaluable resources when it comes to selection of the correct motion control components. How important do you think it is for our customers to have such an application to guide customers through the entire selection process?
Okay. So actually it's very important. I don't know how to emphasize that. So motion control can be quite challenging, especially when it comes to selecting the right components, right? There are so many variables to consider, from motor types to drive system, to specific technical requirements of machines and system. So what happens is that this tier selection tools helps us take away all this complexity and simplify into one single space for us. So for us, it's really a time saver. It reduces the likelihood of mistakes, during our selection process, and then we work. So before having this tool, the process was a lot more time consuming and very prone to human errors. So we often have to revisit the selection again, manually check, adjust component sizes, settings. But now I think our lives is just much easier. Things are more accurate and more easier to handle. In motion control, if you choose the wrong components, it leads a lot to inefficiency, or even system failure. So if a motor or drive is not sized properly for the application, it affects performance. Performance goes down, energy consumption is more, and then it shortens the lifespan of the system. So the tier selection tools for us takes into account all these technical requirements, right? Things like speed, load, torque, environmental conditions, and uses all this data to recommend the right combination or setting for us. So this ensures that we are using the right components and is optimized for our specific use. So rather than in the past, we just take the guesswork out of what we want to do.
Yeah. I think that's really a very great point. So I think ensuring that the components are correctly dimensioned can actually make a big difference when it comes to performance and also long-term reliability of the entire system, right? So besides just about selecting the correct component, what are the other features of tier selection tool that you find valuable in your daily tasks?
I think one thing that's very valuable, in fact, I think the most valuable, in fact, is integration of the tier portal. Yeah, so in fact, one of the most important features for us is tier portal integration possibility, right? So since we are already using tier portal for all other aspects of our automation work, so having the ability to directly transfer parts of the selected motion control components into the portal for config and programming is really saving us a lot of time. And it also streamlines the workflow, and it makes the entire system design more efficient and I would say more progressive. So with the help of automation markup language, which is an open standard by tier selection tool already and tier portal, we can even exchange the data between tier portal and ePlan softwares.
It's great to hear that the integration with the tier portal actually makes the entire process even smoother. Now maybe we can talk more about the impact on cost and efficiency, right? How has using the tier selection tool affected your project timeline and then your overall cost that's involved in the project?
So with the tier selection tool, we can avoid selecting components that are either over-specified or under-specified, right? So if you are over-specified, the cost is higher.
Yeah.
If you're under-specified, it doesn't meet system requirement or specification requirement, and then you risk underperformance.
Sure.
and then potential failures all over the place, right? So tier selection tools ensure that we strike that balance, and then helping our customers to stay within budget without sacrificing their performance.
It's great to hear that the integration of tier portal actually makes the entire process more smooth. Kok Yeong, maybe I can ask you, in your experience, right? Would you actually recommend the tier selection to other engineers or other colleagues or other companies in this industry?
Well, I think the reason that we use it so much is already probably referenced by itself. So I think anyone that needs to do design specification for motion control should certainly try. If not, you have not started yet, you should really try and start using the TR selection tool. Whether you're an engineer working on some project or someone selecting components across multiple projects, I think it's a good tool to go to. It simplifies the process. It ensures accuracy, reduce human errors. Of course, ultimately, like saves time and then energy. So yes, so for anyone that is involved in motion control, do use it. It just makes your life easier. It's more reliable, more efficient, and true to be told, we cannot imagine without this tool anymore.
I'm so great to hear that, and I really completely agree because I have also tried that myself too.
Alright.
So I think this tier selection tool, from Siemens, right, is really a game changer nowadays, especially when it comes to complex motion control design, and because it helps to reduce complexity and also improve the speed and also the accuracy when you are doing design. So it saves costs over costs, right? So Kok Yeong, thank you so much for sharing your invaluable experiences with us today. I mean, it's fantastic just hearing how this tool has actually made a difference in your entire process workflow. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining our podcast today. If you would like to learn more about the tier selection tool and how it can actually help you to transform your motion control component selection process, be sure to check out our website. And thank you so much for listening today.
Looking to improve motion control in small medium enterprises in Asia Pacific? Tune in to the Efficient Motion Control Solutions podcast. We're discussing the vital role of motion control in manufacturing, specifically for the Asia Pacific region. Listen now. Scan the QR code or click the link below.